What's up, guys? It's Chachi Power. Welcome to another one of my reviews for CollectionDX. Today we have Bandai's Soul of Chogokin GX-56, which consists of Zerokage and Bakuryu. Now, this video is mainly for these two figures here, but if you want to hang out till the end of the video, I'll show you guys real quick the GX-54 and the GX-55. Since I didn't make reviews for them in the past. Like I said, we have GX-56 here. So I want to start off with Zerokage. He's basically like a ninja style robot. Mostly plastic, and it's a nice like thick feeling plastic, so it's kind of heavy, but he's not at all overly flimsy. He's got this little ribbon out back, which is a soft PVC, so in case you drop it, it comes off easily, so it's not going to break or anything like that. What else can I point out? Speaking of pointing out, he's got a lot of sharp points. I don't know if it's apparent how sharp some of the points are on this figure. At least this one here is soft, so you're not going to really snap it. You don't have to worry about that too much. Good molding detail. Got this little red circle here with 3 little points, which definitely not going to be able to see on camera. But let's go over a little bit of articulation. He's got all the basic articulation. Oh, that's probably the downside to this figure, is the head pops off very easily. But it's on a ball joint, so all is good. It's got the typical ball joint rotation, articulation, all that. It also has these shoulders. If you want to bring the arm in front, it's limited somewhat, but if you pull the shoulder out, you'll see they pull out a bit, give you a little bit more range in its articulation. Aside from that, it's got your typical action figure type movements. It's got the swivel at the elbows. It's got these little ball jointed hands, and this little piece swivels up so you can kind of see some pistons there. They're not detailed, but you know, it's molded in detail. He's got the upper chest, which moves separately from the green part of the waist there, and also the hips are separate from that too. Got the thighs on ball joints. I don't know if you can see the ball joints. Let me just move the light a bit. So ball joint there. Nice thick leg. He's got these pieces that move back and forth. They don't really move out of the way too much. He's got the knee, which is double jointed. So you can see there. We got that joint there plus another. And as we get down to the lower parts of the legs, once again the head has fallen off. We see the ankles, which don't have a forward and back movement at this point here, but there's another joint below which allows the feet to move, and also the feet are jointed. This joint up here allows for this type of movement, and there's the other joint that I just showed you that allows that type of foot movement, and you also have this little blue plastic piece. As far as diecast, you got the joint here, which is metal, and it's nice and solid, and the feet. Now before we get into the weapons, I'm going to show you guys the alternate hand Zerokage comes with. Comes with this hand with dual fingers that point. It's also got a fist for the weapons. He's got a gun holding hand, and he's got this open hand. Now, I said gun holding hand. It doesn't really have guns, but it's a gun type hand, and I'll show you what that's used for later. Next, I'm going to show you the weapons. He has this trident here. He's also got 2 short swords and a long sword. And he's got this ninja star type weapon, and all these blades come off of that center base there. And he's got this sheath here for the swords, which I'm going to show you a little bit of that later. And he's also got this extended chain weapon. What's cool about this weapon and the sheath is that right on the back of Zerokage he's got a little cap. You go ahead and remove that, there's a hole there, and you place this plug into the back of the ninja star. Make sure it has all the blades on there, and you're able to snap it in the back there. You can also do that with the sword holder. You place the small swords on each end, just like that, and place it on his back. I've removed the ribbon just so you guys can check it out a little bit easier here. Remember that gun looking hand I told you about? What you can actually do is take the ninja star, remove one of the blades, place it into his hand like that, and then attach it to the star. Then what you do is take off one of his hands, snap that in the ball joint, get it on there just like that, which is pretty cool. Let's say you want to use a sword, you grab this hand, which is kind of like a clenched fist, but it's open, and you just open the hand up and squeeze that in there. And this hand also works for the trident. Trident's a little easier. Just place it in, and he would hold the trident. I did mention he has a chain weapon also. Now to use that gimmick, there's a little piece on the forearm here that you're going to have to snap off. So you're going to need a nail for that. Pop that off and don't lose it. And then just attach the square end of the chain right in. Snaps right in. It gives it like a Spider-Man effect there. Now, the set also comes with another figure. You just move this guy out of the way. This is Bakuryu, and this is, I guess, the main piece of the set. We'll start off at the top, just showing you a couple of things. He's got these blasters, which can swivel on this ball joint. You're gonna have to attach these when you first open the set. He's got a lot of pointy parts, just like Zerokage. See right there, it's nice and pointy. Just move the camera for you guys, since this guy is a bit taller. The head is soft PVC, so you're not going to have to worry too much about breaking those. You do, however, have to be careful with these fins here. They got little points. Those look like they can snap off really easily. Mine actually already came stressed right out of the box. But you know, typical Bandai fashion, these are pretty good quality plastics. You got these whiskers here from the dragon, which aren't PVC, but you know, they give a little bit, and they are rather pointy. This is obviously not for kids. So let's check out some of its articulation. We got rather stiff joints. Got the ratchets here, which are nice and solid and very stiff. We got swivels up on the top here. We have the arm, which actually goes in and out to provide more movement for the elbow. Then we got these hands here. There's no waist, and this is due to the center section being part of the transformation. And don't know if I really showed you guys a head movement. Here it is. Nice wide range of movement. The neck actually goes up. That's really part of transformation. And again, this head pops off. But it does give you a good range of motion there. And for the legs, these are also quite solid. You can hear that big snap. Same thing as the arm. Swivels up here. Got the knee joint, which kind of looks very limited. If you look here, doesn't look like it would give much, but it's got a very nice design. See that? Clear is perfect. So you get very nice range of motion there. You got these plastic calves, which move up and down for transformation. Underneath you got more joints. This is more for the dragon part of the transformation. And when we get down to the feet here, we have the ankle here, the foot, and then we have these claws, which are hollow, but they're made out of metal, which gives it a nice feel. And as far as metal, this whole section in the middle, not these two side pieces, but right, if we can move the dragon head out of the way, the whole inside section is metal, which is good. But I mean, it's not a lot of metal in this figure, but the overall heft is really good. You're not going to pick this guy up and say, oh wow, this is pretty light. I mean, he feels, you know, the correct weight for his size. Now Bakuryu has some alternate fists. He's got the standard here, which is the one it comes with, and he's got an open, or it's a closed fist with the open hole here for the weapons. And he's also got this sort of relaxed hand. And we'll move on to the weapons. He's got this axe here with a lot of pointy parts and a spiked end. And it's actually comprised of two pieces that you just place in there. On mine it's really loose, so it will fall out relatively easy. You can see it coming off. There's not a lot of friction. And basically, to finish off the weapon, there's two sets of spikes. We got one short one. It's also got a longer one. And to use this weapon, you grab this slightly opened fist here. And I like to just snap it in half. Push that in there, just like that. Then you're going to want to take off standard hand and just snap it in. So it's a lot easier than Zerokage to get in, but there you have it. Now the part everyone has been waiting for. We're going to get into the transformation. Zerokage is not involved in the transformation. That would be Toby Cagney. And obviously Toby Cagney is not included in the set. The only thing keeping it from being a perfect transformation would be these two pieces here. And there's also an optional head, which I'll show you in a little bit. So we're going to get started. First thing you're going to want to do is pop off the fists. Extend the arms if you haven't yet. And you're going to want to bring up these calves. What that does is it exposes the legs here. What you're going to want to do is this joint, just fold it back. It's a little tough to do. Just like that. Same thing on the other side. Try and hold that up while you push that in. I don't know if you could see that clearly. There you go. And pull these spikes down. Just like that to make big claws. Now it starts to get a little trickier here. Bring these forward. Bring the dragon head forward and out, like so. There's a part that's a little hard. Not that part. You have to bring these two sides out, and it's really hard to do since the figure is kind of new. Done it a couple times, so it kind of snaps out alright. Do the same on the other side. Snap that out and around. So now you've just widened the upper chest area. The tail you just basically pull out like that, bring it down. And you want to make sure this is all centered here because it kind of swivels around. So you kind of want to make sure the bottom here is straight like that. You don't want it crooked like that. It's going to be straight. Okay? And there's these little fins here that you want to bring forward. And bring the neck up like this. And you're going to want to kind of push the head in. Try not to block the light here, guys, but bear with me. Push the head in like so. And just basically work around it just to get everything to fit. You're going to want to bring this forward. Then this down. That becomes the cover for Toby Cagne's head. Bring the neck back. Want to be careful with the spikes. You don't want to snap them. There you go. Just like that. And then there's a little tiny spike right up here you want to bring up too. Right there. Want to bring that up. And when you come around, you're going to see these two little hinges. You want to bring them out to the side. And you're going to kind of want to, or not kind of, you're going to have to line them up to these holes on the side, and they snap right in. But before you snap it in completely, that's where this chest plate comes in. Again, not a perfect transformation. This is kind of just cheating. Has a potential to be perfect, and I'll show you guys that in a sec. The bottom here has this tab that's going to squeeze right in between those two fins there. And work it into the holes on the side. There's another hole on this side. And this, oh, I actually lined it up perfect. Alright, so you got that squared away. And we're almost there. Just want to bring these claws out. Like so. Now there's one last piece to make it look, right. And it's this back piece, which you can leave like that, but just to make it perfect, you don't want to put that in. Just snap it in, make sure it's lined up correctly, and there you go. In this mode, he's called the Kaima Bakuryu, which is Sea Demon, and it's pretty neat looking. Everything fits very well together. Now, some of you might think the head looks a little too big, which is fine, because like I said, there's an optional part, which is not needed for the transformation, but if you need it to look perfect, you just remove this head and you swap it for a smaller one. This is the original, that's the optional. In my opinion, it looks a lot better with the smaller one. And there you go. There it is. Looks a lot better. A little more proportioned. And both heads do have opening mouths. I'll show you this one. Here you go. We'll open the smaller head. Now the play value doesn't end there. If you happen to pick up the GX-54 Toby Cagney with Kurojishi, you're in for a treat. Basically, instead of using this panel, you can actually use the little Toby Cagney. Now he's not in scale with the plate here. This is more for like an anime correct look. But it's really neat that they let you use this in case you absolutely must have a perfect transforming Bakuryu. So we're going to just separate that a bit, just enough to get this out. Pull this up. Bring these fins down. They're not really necessary there. There's two holes in the back. Kind of hard to see with the back plate on. But basically indentations where the feet go. And it's a little tricky to get the feet to fit back there. you have to fiddle with it a couple of times. You just bring this down to cover his head, and there you go. Fully transformed with a Toby Cagney. I don't think it looks as good as having a chest plate, but like I said, if you absolutely must have perfect transformation, there you go. The only thing keeping it from being perfect really is this back plate, since that's a piece you're going to have on the side. Otherwise, you can pretty much just have this Toby Cagney and just transform him as you wish. So it's in combined form, it's excellent. Wouldn't expect anything less from this set. It's awesome each piece by itself, but combined, just take a look. It's incredible. Really nice, really nice, really nice proportions with this smaller head. Overall, I really think this is an excellent, excellent release. I mean, it makes for a really good release. You get 2 figures in one box. Very good price. And like I said, you know, I'm going to show you guys the other 2 releases. Before that, if you guys want to check out more on this guy, visit CollectionDX. I got a full write-up on it. If you want to hang around, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to go over the GX-54 and GX-55, which I have not done video reviews for. You know, quick look-sees on those figures. And you can check out the full reviews also on CollectionDX.com. So let's start off with the GX-54, which is probably my favorite. As far as size and coolness, whatever, maybe the GX-56 might be a little bit better. But this guy is what I remember from my childhood. I had a bunch of bootlegs of this guy. Maybe they were bootlegs, maybe they weren't. But this is Kurojishi. I should actually be going over Toby Cagney first, so I can move on to the bigger one. Let's start off with Toby Cagney. We got this little guy here, which I think if there was a line of these figures, I'd buy all of them. I mean, these are pretty cool. You know, they don't look like throwaway figures. They're not like filler kind of figures just to throw in a set. I mean, Bandai did a really good job. It's a small figure, but it has an amazing amount of joints and movement. I mean, it's got the separated midsection from the hip and the chest, so you can do a lot of crotch thrusting if you want to. It's got these little hands, and the detail on the arms is really, really nice with these shoulder pads here that, you know, that move around and about. It's also got this on the side here, which is pretty cool because, I mean, even though they're small, they actually fold out of the way. See that? So there's a micro hinge right there. And the best part is you can actually pull this out. And he's got little missile launchers or whatever right underneath. I mean, it's kind of hard to see. They do pull out. And you get the movement of the kneecaps, which is, you know, just for transformation really, as his knee is pretty ugly when it's bent. It's all due to transformation. This little section here would be when you're transforming him to go into Kurojishi. You basically pull this panel down, pull the shoulders back, and then the hand would hide right in that spot. See that? Which is pretty neat. Believe it or not, this guy actually does have diecast. Whoops, tore his knee off. If I'm not mistaken, you know, his feet are metal. And I'm not sure if the chest was. Like I said, you know, it's been a while since I've messed around with this guy. But the heat lamps do not help in, you know, changing the temperature of the figure, so it's really hard to tell. But overall, very good figure. Awesome. Let's put that little guy aside. Make sure I can find his kneecap here somewhere. Here we go. Alright. So, next we'll concentrate on Kurojishi. This guy feels nice and heavy because he is heavy. It's kind of short and stubby, but I mean, this figure is really, really cool. Now, this guy probably has the most amount of metal out of all of them. Let's go over the metal. It's got this whole section back here, basically the whole entire midsection minus the lion head and these silver sections here. These claws on the side, solid die cast, and I believe he's got metal joints. This is one of the stiffest joints I've ever seen in any figure. I mean, that's a lot of pressure just to move that. Feet are completely metal. Sole outer section here. So overall, pretty heavy. Very nice detail. For a yellow robot, he looks pretty good. I wouldn't say yellow is necessarily my favorite color on a robot, but it's well executed on this figure. Face detail is really nice. Molding detail, very nice. All the panel lines. Actually thinking about doing the panel lines on this with a Gundam marker when I get a chance. Got the same ratcheting motions on the shoulders that you'd come to expect from a Chogokin. No ratchets on his elbow, but very, very firm, very, very firm. And he's got alternate hands, which you can see in the written review. Show you guys a lion here, and see if I could get his mouth open. There we go. Get a mouth open there. But anyway, moving right along. We get the knees here, which do have ratchets. Really nice. Got a little bit of ankle movement, not a lot. Actually, is that ankle movement or just me flexing? Actually, not much ankle movement, if any. You got this tail back here, which actually snaps onto his back like that. But basically, an overall excellent figure. So I recommend this one. I actually recommend all three, to be honest. Alright, so got this guy out of the way. Like I said, check out the written review on CollectionDX.com. And finally, we have Toby Cagney with Horayo, I believe it's pronounced. Now, this Toby Cagney is probably the coolest, maybe not the most anime accurate, but it's definitely you know, nice athletic build to it. Lots of crotch thrusting with this one. So we're going to go over that a little bit. We'll do a comparison with the smaller Toby Cagney from the GX-54. Put his knee back on. So this is the Toby Cagney from GX-54 with the Toby Cagney from GX-55. Very obvious are the size differences. But what's great is for the GX-55, you can use both of these to combine with Horayo, which you would think with the scale difference, you know, how is that possible? But it's possible. So you're going to want to check out the written review for this one, where I show you guys the differences in size and basically how it combines with this guy. So we've already gone over this one. Now we see the size difference with the one included with Horayo. Now, same thing with this guy. It's not a lot of die cast. It's a lot of plastic and PVC, but it feels really nice. It's got that thick plastic in the thighs, like the Zerokage does. Basically, the only metal is just the feet again. But this guy has a lot of movement. He's got the shoulders that are similar to Zerokage, except they don't really pull out. They're just already there like that. He's got the shoulder covers here. He's got these shoulder covers on top of those on a ball joint. A lot of articulation. Same thing with the hip. He's got all the movement. Now, if you'll notice, the little star piece actually sinks in a bit to give it even more range. That's a lot of waist movement right there. Don't you agree? Back also. Then he's got these crotch covers, which you might want to be careful, because the edges of this are really sharp and they cut into this soft plastic. So I guess this is solid PVC, so it cuts in really easily. So he's got a bunch of crotch scratches. Here you'll see his ball joints. He's got the cups on the leg and the ball joints on the crotch. He has a double jointed knee. There's one joint here and then the one right on the knee. As far as the ankle, he's got a similar style to Zerokage, which moves back and forth this way and also this way. Now, if you wanted to use those little blaster things like the smaller one, believe it or not, the bigger one, they don't even fold. Well, they don't fold back because this doesn't actually transform and combine. But if you want to use the blaster effect thing, this doesn't even have it. You figure a bigger figure would have it instead of the smaller one having it. They can work it into the small one. Should have been able to work it to the big one, but they didn't. And he's got, you know, double jointed neck. There's one at the base of the neck and one at the base of the head, a ball joint. And it's soft PVC, so it kind of moves out of its own way depending on where you want to pose it. If you want to check out all the weapons and alternate hands, check out CollectionDX.com. Got a written review on that. And finally, we have Horyu. Here we go. This guy was my favorite until... Actually, it's kind of weird. They're kind of all my favorites. It's hard to say. You know, once I pick up another one, I end up saying that's my favorite. But they're all my favorite. Anyway. So we got this figure here, which is kind of cool. It's really thin. You would never expect it to weigh what it weighs. It's got a nice heft. It has a good amount of metal, which is mostly concentrated in the center here. You got the, you know, the whole chest section. Got metal joints on the side here. And this is very pointy. It's kind of uncomfortable to hold sometimes. These fins back here, if you run your hand down, they kind of want to just snag your skin. See that? Just snags your skin, wants to rip it open. Not for kids either. These fins have to be pulled out. They're normally like that. Pull them out when he's in the robot mode. You have these little prongs back here, these little wings, whatever you want to call them. He's got metal, the claws. All three of these releases all have claws like this, and they're all metal. This guy also has ratcheting action, but it's part of the design. But you'll see the edge of this hits right into the wing, which is fine because the plastic is flexible. You can go past it, but I mean, you know, it's kind of weird. Another thing you want to look out for is these wings back here. If they're caught in between these two claws, when you go to pull that part out, see that? It starts basically tugging on it. You don't want to snap that. Move them out of the way. Then you can move the arm out. Very simple. Ratchet on the bottom legs too, or the bottom of the legs, down here, the knees, the hip. A lot of ratchety action there. It turned to the side. And you also got metal down here on the feet. Got a little bit of range of motion on the front toes, and he's got these side toes also. More like a bird, because that's really what he is. Big dragon bird or whatever. And that about brings me to the end of the review for these guys. If you want to check out more information, you get to see them in the combined form. All little accessories they come with, stuff like that. Definitely check out CollectionDX.com. Just look them up: GX-54, GX-55, GX-56, and get all the details there. And you'll also find out where to get them. All three of these review samples were provided by HLJ.com, so you're going to want to go check these guys out as soon as the video's done. And that's pretty much it for today. I should be back soon with some more reviews, so stay tuned. Bye.